Hello, good day, my glorious families. I welcome you to today's chapter of the day. So, today's chapter is taken from the book of Job, chapter 23, and I hope you enjoy this. The headline says, Job replies, "My complaint is bitter." Then Job answered, "Today also my complaint is bitter. His hand is heavy despite my groaning. Oh, that I knew where I might find him. That I might come even to his dwelling. I will lay my case before him and fill my mouth with argument. I will learn what he would answer me and understand what he would say to me. Would he contend with me in the greatness of his power? No, but he will give heed to me. There an upright person could reason with him, and I should be acquitted forever by my judgment. If I go forward, he is not there, or backward, I cannot perceive him. On the left he hides, and I cannot behold him. I turn to the right, but I cannot see him. But he knows the way that I take when he has tested me. I shall come out like gold. My foot has held fast to his steps. I have kept his way and have not turned aside. I have not departed from the commandments of his lips. I have treasured in my bosom the words of his mouth, but he stands alone, and who can dissuade him? What he desires, that he does. What he desires, that he does. For he will complete what he appoints for me. And many such things are in his mind. Therefore I am terrified at his presence. When I consider, I am dread of him. God has made my heart faint. The Almighty has terrified me. If only I could vanish in darkness, and thick darkness will cover my face. So wait. You see this chapter 23. Let's note it. If you're watching this video, go and mark Job chapter 23, and then I want you to write on top of it, when God is silent. When God is silent. Or you can say, look, I've written it on mine. I'm using pencil. When God is silent. Or you can say, when I feel God is silent. This is how I feel when I think God is silent. Now, let me quickly push something through. There is this idea I used to have for many, I won't say for many years, for some years back, until last year. Was it last year or early this year? I think early this year or late last year. That was when that was when my faith was able to step up. I used to think God was silent. Like, I used to think God is silent at some point in life, at some point in our lives. Like, I think I've done a video before that says when God is silent. So then after my faith got a bit step up, then I realized that God is never silent. God is never silent. Like, we are the one who feel God is silent. Okay, let's take for instance, when you read the whole book of Job, you realize that God was never silent, but Job thought God was silent. Job thought that God was dealing with him. God was punishing him for a sin he doesn't know. He can't. Like, let's Job's friends actually thought Job was seeing himself as a righteous person when Job was saying, "Oh, I have done nothing wrong. I have not sinned against you. I have tried all my best to keep your commandments. I have always done things to make sure you're fine." And that is true. Honestly, that is true. Even God said it. God said it to Satan. He said, "Look at my servant, that he is a sinless man. He had no sin." So God was right about Job. But Job ended up committing the slightest sin, because he ended up nagging, and how he ended up to that was because he felt God was silent, and because of that he started recounting, and telling God, reminding God, challenging God, "These are the things I have never done. I have I have never gone against your instructions. I have never done anything to wrong you. I have never," and then that's why, it was established. That was why when God responded, God was telling him that, I don't want to summarize it, but somehow I'm summarizing the whole book in this particular video. That God later responded, like, God. That is one thing God does not want from us. One of the things I learned from Job is that God doesn't want us to to see ourselves like sinless. Like, it's better you know that you're not sinless, and that is the fact. Even though God acknowledged that Job is not a sinner, that Job is a righteous man, yes, God said it. that Job is a righteous man. But even at that, a man, the moment a man starts seeing himself to be righteous, that may be the beginning of your downfall, because somehow you would think that you are completely righteous, but that's not true. Nobody is 100% righteous, because being born of the flesh alone had degraded us. It has made us to, not to be righteous really, because excuse me, as long as we wear this flesh is forever flesh. Okay, so but what actually made Job to stand out is the fact that he knows what to do. Whenever he messed up, he always fess up. Is that the proper statement? No, not that he messed up. The Bible did not record that Job ever messed up. But what I'm saying is, Job has a way of making sure. Let me rephrase that statement. Not that whenever he mess up, he always fess up. That statement is actually for King David in the Bible. Anytime he messed up, he will fess up. Like, he will come to the presence of God. And when I say presence of God, I'm not saying having to go to church. And no, presence of God can be your bedroom. Presence of God can be your bathroom. Just kneel down wherever you feel comfortable and make it known to God. God already knows, right? But make it known, like, Father, I am here, I have done this, I have done that, even though God knew. Let's say, for instance, during the time of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, God was saying, Adam, calling on Adam, Adam, where are you? Are you telling me God does not know where he is? Of course, God knew where he was, but God wanted him to fess up because he already messed up. So what I'm trying to say is, in the case of Job knew that, like, Job always wanna flush the sin off. He doesn't know if he has sinned, but he always that time that he always prepare those sacrifices that is actually meant for cleansing of sin in those days, unlike now that we just confess with our mouth and in the name of Jesus Christ and your sins are forgiven. Abba, it's so cheap now to ask for forgiveness, isn't it? But in those days, you have a lot to prepare. Like, you have to pile up some sacrifices, burnt offerings, saint offerings, all of these different offerings. Kill some animals, kill goats, kill ram, kill this, kill that, and then use their blood, and then you burn them, and then the saint goes up there and please God and make God to feel better. That was in those days. But these are things that Job will always do, and not just for himself alone. He was such a caring father, like, spiritually. He will make sure he does all the cleansing and forgiveness of sins. He will prepare all of those different sacrifices just to make sure he is on the right page with God. So this is somebody that is so fearful. And when I say fearful, I don't mean being dreadful or like that. Like, fearful in a respectable manner. When we say we fear God, it doesn't mean that when I do something or I could say something against God now, doesn't mean God is going to come in and give me a slap. No. But God, being fearful, like this guy called Job, he was like, I won't say he was the most faithful child of God, because Abraham too was faithful. Like, Abraham 100%, like, always submitted to God's way. Hey, Abraham, leave your country and go to somewhere else. And Abraham will not just say, oh, how do I survive there? How do I transport myself there? But he just believed in God in totality. I don't know if you have learned something new, but I just love this chapter 23 because it's talking about me. Sometimes I just don't hear from God, but that does not mean God is not there. So what do you do when you think God is silent? Just keep your faith. Do not lose focus. Don't give up on God. Never ever stop praying about that thing that you were asking him about. Because if you stop, I don't think it makes sense. You have to keep talking. Imagine, let's do a practical aspect. Imagine my daughter is asking, Mommy, can I have this cake? And I go this way. Mommy, can I have this cake? Or maybe I was doing something and I refused to answer. That doesn't mean I am saying no. And that still does not mean I am saying yes. I am silent, right? Probably I'm trying to tell you, calm down, or hold on, or I'm thinking, or I'm trying to process your request or something. I am not saying this is what God is doing, but I'm saying that let's wait until God speaks. He will respond to you. He will never let you down. And always remember this verse of the Bible that says, do not be anxious for anything, but in everything, with prayer and thanksgiving, make your request known to God. So do not forget to always tell God what you want, not just coming to God and say, oh Father, today I'm so disappointed, and then you nag, and you keep asking God, why me? That was what Job was doing, instead of him to just go straight to the point. Father, I am shattered, I am this, I'm broken, I'm this has happened, even though God knows it has happened. Explain everything that has happened and tell God what you want. Just go ahead and tell God what you want and keep telling God what you want, and he will do it. Thank you for watching. Love you all, and bye for now.